The tragic legacy of the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire. What price would you put on your safety at work? Today, we take workplace protections for granted. Fire exits, sprinklers, safety regulations. But just over a century ago, these safeguards didn't exist, and workers paid with their lives. On March 25, 1911, it was nearly closing time at the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory in Manhattan. Inside the top 3 floors of the Ash Building, 500 workers, mostly young immigrant women between 14 and 23 years old, were finishing their shifts. At 4:45 p.m., a fire began in a scrap bin under a cutter's table on the 8th floor. Within minutes, it spread through the fabric-filled workroom. Workers rushed to escape, only to discover a cruel reality. The factory owners, Max Blank and Isaac Harris, had locked many of the doors from the outside, a common practice to prevent theft and unauthorized breaks. As the inferno intensified, onlookers gathered on Washington Place below. What they witnessed next would haunt them and the city forever. With no way out, workers began jumping from the 9th floor windows. They fell nearly 100 feet to the street below. "I learned a new sound that day," recalled United Press reporter William Shepard, who witnessed the tragedy, the sound of a body hitting the pavement. The city's fire department arrived quickly, but their ladders only reached the 6th floor. The water from their hoses barely touched the flames on the upper floors. In just 18 minutes, 146 workers perished, 123 women and 23 men. The youngest victims were just 14 years old. More than half of the dead had jumped to escape the flames. 1 week later, more than 350,000 people marched in a funeral procession through the rain-soaked streets of New York. The city mourned, but mourning wasn't enough. Anger was building. The tragedy had exposed the brutal working conditions that immigrants faced. Triangle's workers earned as little as $7 a week for 60-hour work weeks. They had attempted to unionize the year before, but owners Blank and Harris had fought the effort, hiring prostitutes to attack the picketers and paying police to arrest female strikers. In the criminal trial that followed the fire, Blank and Harris were acquitted of manslaughter charges. The jury couldn't prove they knew the exit doors were locked. Their insurance company paid them $60,000 more than their reported losses, about $400 per casualty. But the public outrage drove real change. The New York State Factory Investigating Commission, led by Frances Perkins, who would later become the first female cabinet member as FDR's Secretary of Labor, conducted a thorough investigation. These reforms spread across the country, forming the foundation of workplace safety laws that protect us today. OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, traces its DNA directly to the ashes of the Triangle Fire. The next time you notice an emergency exit sign, a sprinkler system, or a fire extinguisher at your workplace, remember the 146 people who died because those protections weren't in place. Their names are etched in history, and their sacrifice became the catalyst for protections we now take for granted. Every workplace safety measure is written in their memory, a reminder that human lives must never be sacrificed for profit. The Commission's work led to 36 new laws reforming the labor code, requiring fire sprinklers, extinguishers, working fire alarms, and unlocked doors during work hours. For the first time, factory owners could be held criminally liable for workplace conditions.